All right, hello everybody. It is Coach Steven here from Woolery Strength Systems, and today we are going to be talking about our dynamic effort lower body day today. This was on today, September 4th. We had single leg wall sits, foam roller leg bridge, which as you can see I missed here. Did a dynamic warm up, and then got some hill sprints, which ended up just being on the flat ground on the turf. And we'll kind of go over why that is later on. And we went to, I'm not too sure why this was changed to ST bar, but it's supposed to just be safety bar, SSB bar, whatever. Then we did reverse lunges, had heavy sled drags, which I did also skip as well. Plan on doing more of that tomorrow for a little bit more GBP, or at least this weekend to catch up on that. And again, I'll explain why. Then we also had seated banded leg curls, banded lat pull downs, and then alternating V-ups, which I ended up doing hanging V-ups just instead. And then I skipped these Copenhagen abs at the bottom as well. Was a little unsure of what I was supposed to do on this one anyway, so whatever I find out what it is, I will do it at another date, and I will record those most likely and post them on here. So anyway, that was the dynamic effort day, kind of the outline. So now we'll go ahead and start getting through it. We've kind of you've all seen me do these a few times now, so I'm just going to kind of show them real quick. I'm still chatting with the GAs while doing this. Just hitting a single leg wall set for about 30 seconds, give or take. Mostly just worried about that right leg more than anything. Of course, doing it on the left as well, just to even everything out. But more worried about that right leg, which has been bothering me with the tendonitis. The foam roller bridge. Only ended up skipping this just because I had a little time constraint. I started lifting at about 11-ish, and I had a lab at 12:30. That's either if you're late, you are not allowed to come in. So did not want to miss that. So had about an hour or so to lift, and then I had to eat and things like that as well. But I ended up doing a dynamic warm up, which did not record before my 15-yard sprints, which I ended up being a 5-yard build to a 10-yard fly, technically. But anyway, I did nothing serious. I did some 10-man, skipping 10-man, scoops, A-skips, some power skips for height and distance. Trying to think, pogo hops, forward and lateral both ways, of course. And that was the majority of it. I did a couple warm-up sprints before. However, let's go ahead and get into these. I only think 3 only uploaded. I did a couple with the OVR overlay. We'll go ahead and watch. This is our last sprint that I hit, and I recorded from the side. The other ones with the OVR were from the straight back, but we'll go ahead and watch these. Probably not the prettiest thing in the world. Definitely can tell I'm just now getting into sprinting. Trying to fire here. Again, not actually as bad as I thought it was going to look from this angle. I would have to have someone else look at it to really make sure I'm doing okay. I think what I do wish would happen is and we're still in more of an acceleration phase here, so I think that I'm maybe being a little upright. Could potentially be happening here. I'm trying to slow it down a little bit. I feel like I am getting decent projection, but maybe a little bit more knee drive. My knees are really, really, really low here. Maybe getting a little bit more extension out of that right there. That's a little bent there. Knees a little low. Would probably prefer to see it a little bit higher and a little bit straighter on that back leg. But overall, like not too happy again, or not too upset about it. Still, like I said, learning to sprint, learning to jump a little bit better. But anyway, here's some upright ones that I had recorded vertically for the Instagram with that OVR set up as well to get the overlay. I don't know if see, that looks really stiff from this angle, which is kind of silly looking. But I think my fastest one actually recorded, I think it's this one right here. Hit 1.402, I believe it was. Get it here. Yeah, there we go. So again, just got these in. The OVR timing gates, definitely recommend. Very great price for the quality and easiness of the setup, which was really great. Definitely will be using these for myself and my athletes that I train in person, which will be really, really fun to see. And I actually used them yesterday with one of my athletes, and he loved it off the rip. So anyway, going to be using these over time. You guys will see more of these for sure. And definitely like looking at getting your own if you are serious about training or if you're a coach yourself, definitely look into getting these. They're very, very, very nice. And then, like I said, worth the price for sure. Going down, we had safety bar squats versus bands, like we already mentioned. Tempo was pretty high today, meaning just of the rest periods and things like that were pretty short. Also, weight was not moving fantastic today, but I kept it above 0.65 on most of my reps, so I was pretty happy about that. I'm at about 50% bar weight here from Monday, probably a little bit higher than I probably should have been. But again, as long as I'm above that 0.65-ish range, I'm pretty happy right now. That's kind of my goal at the moment. Also had the band set up a little bit differently. The unrack was a little awkward on some of these here. And I'm probably going to watch this one right here and then probably skip to the last two sets just to see what it kind of looks like. Would probably like to get a little bit deeper here still. I'm still like, you guys can tell me, I think maybe I should be still getting a little bit deeper. It seems that my hips, it's just kind of weird from this angle maybe, but feel like my hip socket is there. So we're at about parallel, but I'm not sure. You all tell me. Again, the safety bar might be changing it a little bit just because the load placement, things like that as well. But you all can kind of let me know on that. But anyway, let's skip towards the end there and see how fatigue's looking versus the first few sets there. Rack it here. All right. Looking for anything technical. So I really don't see anything here. I like the pop that I had on that rep. Good. There we go. Yeah, these last two sets, if I'm remembering correctly, were actually moving a little bit better than like the middle ground sets. So I don't know if I had any type of like kind of potentiation factor kind of thing going on or not for the first few sets, but definitely felt a little bit better on these last ones. Yeah, let's see here. I think I was almost trying to stay a little bit too upright. I think normally I'm a little bit more hinged forward at my hips, so normally my angle's just a little bit more like, well, probably not quite that much. Like at the start of my lift, I'm usually a little bit more lean forward, like that probably. But this time I'm a little bit more upright, it seems. Again, I'm not at the complete side angle, so that could be affecting my view a little bit. But at the bottom of my squat, I feel like I'm normally a little bit more lean forward. Just a little more hingy of a squat. But overall, these did feel pretty good. But what did not feel good is what I'm going to show you next, which I'm not going to show them all. I'm just going to show the last legs. I took these a little bit easy, the barbell reverse lunges, just because I haven't done them in a while, and I still got pretty dang cooked. And then you'll see this set right here, how it went there. Luckily, the weight was feeling really, really light without the bands, which felt really cool. Liked that. Yeah. Good there. You'll see as I slowly progress through this set, it gets a little rough for me. That right leg, there we go, yeah, starts to get a little bit heavy to kind of get up there. Of course, I took a little bit more of a pause at the bottom, which definitely did not help. Had to kind of gather myself there. Yeah, this was a hard workout, and you'll see I think I labeled it as a 4 difficulty. We'll kind of just slide through these real quick. This left leg's nothing to really get too excited about. That right leg is more of my problem leg, so I've been starting on that leg to try to just get it as strong as I possibly can, and then kind of have it kind of catch up to the left leg. At least that's the idea. I don't know how much merit that really has, but anyway, went ahead and went past these sled drags again due to the time aspect of it. Plan on doing some type of GPP this weekend that is not normally programmed for all of us, so to kind of catch up for that. And I'll probably get my butt kicked next week if I don't do something similar. Here's these seated banded leg curls. These felt a little silly, to be honest. I think this is how everyone else was doing, but I'm not too sure. Again, I was lifting by myself today. I probably could have done a little bit more or even just stretched the band a little bit more, either one. But either way, still felt pretty good. Felt a good contraction in the hamstrings, but Obviously, it kind of is deloading at the end there, so nothing crazy to see there. Then we go into these banded lat pull downs using the big purple band. Again, these weights are kind of just arbitrary numbers. They're not probably actually 75 pounds, but we'll kind of go through these real quick. Definitely gonna have to mess with these throughout. I like kind of adjust my body multiple times. And if you can actually see here, this is kind of interesting actually. I have, this is not the one that I wanted. Right here, I actually have fat grips on this. We put them around the bar, or the band, excuse me, just to kind of see if it would work. And it ended up working pretty well. It actually slid off on the last set that I was doing. That's not recorded. But with the fat grips, definitely cooked my forearms a little bit more. But these honestly felt pretty good at that bottom of the concentric contraction there, firing up the lats pretty good. And then I even had a little bit of a bicep pump going on. Again, I don't know if everyone else went underhand grip. I did because I kind of liked that a little bit more. Yeah, these got pretty heavy and they felt good though. I was pretty happy with these. Never really done banded lat pull downs, so a lot of these things are pretty new to me actually. But anyway, going through. And I don't want to lie to you all. I'm still planning on doing these tonight. However, I had to get out of here to get some class. I actually ended up supersetting my hanging leg raises, which you're about to see, with my chicken and rice. So just for some time constraints. But once again, like all of my sets have been with these, was only counting reps that cleared my face. I was pretty happy with my range of motion on these. I was getting pretty good. Concentric, obviously getting my feet really high up there, making a real V. And then as I slowly fatigue, my legs don't quite get as high as you can kind of start to see here already, honestly. But again, these felt good and they've been feeling good. And I also think that hanging's been really good for my shoulders lately. Haven't been having much problem, just kind of getting overhead a little bit more has felt pretty good. And then once again, I didn't do these Copenhagen abs. As soon as I found out what they actually are, I plan on getting them done, whether that's tonight off camera or something similar to that. Difficulty, like I said, was a 4. I think maybe with the combination of taking the sprints a little bit more serious today, and then the newer barbell lunges for me, reverse lunges, kind of just destroyed me. Like I'm feeling it right now sitting down. So definitely was a cool workout. I enjoyed it a lot actually. Duration, like I said, was a little bit longer here. Again, I think it's just because the newer movements kind of affected it a little bit, and I was just, like I said, kind of getting my butt kicked. I was also taking my sprints a little more serious when it comes to rest times and things like that. So fatigue was good though. Felt pretty good, but going into it, maybe just a little bit on the tired side. But yeah, besides that, I felt really, really good overall. And then here's the nutrition check-in. No nutrition today because it's still 3:30 in the afternoon, but weight has been slowly creeping down, and not in a bad way, just in I've kind of been a little bit more serious about the diet since I started here. And actually Voodoo Power, I don't have the shirt on, but I was wearing it in the video, so I'll show again real quick. He's been helping me with my nutrition, help stay a little bit more accountable. The video will probably show up there later on, but but he's been helping me stay a little bit more accountable, has me on a decent little meal plan. And yeah, it's been working really, really well for me so far. And it just helps more, just like staying accountable is the biggest thing. He's using Turnkey Coach as well. But yeah, that's kind of all I have for this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you think that, make a comment on one of the workouts or technique, anything like that, please leave them down below. And yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching.